Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another feature match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be round 5 for the 9th edition of my online Discord tournament. We're skipping over round 4 because, to be honest, none of those matches were super interesting, but this one definitely should be. So we have Platter on Giant Ballpark versus Black Hippie on Prank Kids. And if you guys do want to, as usual, play in the next tournament, which will be taking place after the July ban list whenever that drops, feel free to go ahead and join my Discord server. You can find the link to that in the description alongside both players' deck lists. But let's get started with this matchup here without any further ado. So it looks like Prank Kids did win the RPS here, so they're going to opt to go first in this match. And then the opening hand for Prank Kids going first is going to be Pranks, Dropsies, Evenly Matched, Ash, and Roxy's. So the hand looks definitely pretty decent, has a couple of Prank Kids, Pranks to help extend a little bit. Interesting to see Evenly in the main deck, even though they're choosing to go first, so I guess it's just kind of a hedge if they do lose the RPS. But hand looks pretty decent. And then the opening hand for the Giant Ballpark deck going second is going to be Kaiju Slumber, Imperm, Ash, Humongous, and Resonance Insect. So for those of you guys out there who do not know, this is a blind second deck, which is why you're seeing the Kaiju package in here. Also, Resonance Insect is a really good card here. So if it's sent from the field to the grave, you can add a level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand. So that includes your Kaijus, both Humongous and Gardner are searchable. And then cards like Doom Dozer, which are good extenders and help to trigger its second effect, where if this card is banished, you can send an insect monster from your deck to the grave besides Resonance or Insect. So you can send stuff like Goki Pole, which is typically the common choice. And that card gets a lot of value because it summons a monster and also pops a card in the field. So that card's like a really, really good just tool for going second again. So really, really good stuff. They didn't open Ballpark, but they opened a lot of good go second cards. So Prank Kids, they're going to go to main phase and then normal summon a copy of Dropsies. And then that's going to turn into a copy of Meow Meow. And then the Dropsies will be ashed. Followed up with a copy of Pranks that's going to be activating to pitch this Roxy's and then summon out a token. So they're going to go for the Dodo here, and then effect on summon is going to try and search, but that'll be negated by the Imperm. They're then going to activate the Dodo on field effects, which would be negated, yeah. So they're just going to get it in grave, and then end phase, they're going to recycle 3, and then they're going to draw 1. They already had 3 in grave, so I do wonder why they chose to do that. Maybe they know the matchup and just want to clear their board, which is fair, because that helps kind of play around like Slumber, for example. But that's going to go and draw into a copy of Fansies, which is good for next turn, and they're going to pass. We'll see a top deck Nibiru from the side of Giant Ballpark. So again, just more really, really powerful go second cards. They're just going to set Resonance Insect after bluffing that they might have game after saying calculating, but they're going to pass. We're going to see a top deck of another Ash. So Prank Kids are going to normal summon this Fansies. That's going to turn into a link summon of the Meow Meow, triggering the Fansies effect. That's going to send the Pandemonium to summon out Lampsies from deck. And then from here, those are going to be linked away for a copy of Dodo. And then Dodo and Lampsies both trigger here, so that's going to grab a copy of Roxy's from deck. And then going to search for a copy of Place. And then from here, they're going to... are they activating Place? No, they're just asking to read it. Okay, so Nibiru is going to be dropped on Summon here. Yeah. Just making sure that that was actually 5 summons. Going to go for the token. And that should be the end of the turn. Yeah, I'm going to go and resolve Pranks in the end phase. That's going to recycle back 3. And then going to draw into a copy of Call by the Grave. And they're going to pass here. So we're going to see a top Battle Wasp pin the Bullseye. So this card's basically just an extender if you control an insect. But also, it inflicts 200 damage during the main phase for each copy of itself on the field. So this card is broken in time. But yeah, just another way to get a body on the board. Because the Injector Link is pretty nice in this deck. But yeah, they're going to flip up this copy of Resonance Insect and then special summon out pin the Bullseye. They're going to burn for 200 and then link summon for a copy of Akashic Magician, actually. So they're going to, I guess, bounce the token here. So it's going to be Chainlink 1 Akashic since it is, in fact, mandatory. And then Chainlink 2 Resonance Insect, which will be ashed. That's definitely a solid ash target for sure. I'm actually surprised that they went for Akashic Magician. I'm fairly certain that they could have beaten over the token with just like the battle phase. Maybe they're trying to go for game, which is reasonable because I think if Resonance Insect resolves, that probably would have been at least very close to game, if not actually lethal. But regardless, we are going to see a stop to that by Ash. They're just going to go battle phase and attack for 47, and then they're going to just pass on this. So Prank Kids are going to draw. There can be only 1 for turn main decked here. So they have another Prank Kids, and there's no more hand traps from the side of Giant Ballpark. So this is going to be full combo here. So Place is going to search a copy of Dropsies. They're then going to normal summon it, and then go for a copy of Meow Meow. triggering the Dropsies as well as the Field Spell to reduce the attack, and then going to go for a copy of Fansies here. They're then going to link summon into a copy of Dodo, triggering the Dodo as well as the Fansies, which is going to send, a copy of Pranks, summon out Roxy's, and then search for Pandemonium here. They're going to go for Pandemonium next. That's going to fusion summon into a copy of Rocket Ride. That's going to trigger the Field Spell again to gain the attack this time, and then go for a Banish of Evenly Match into a draw of Gamma. And I guess they chose not to summon off Roxy's here. So they're going to go for Rocket Ride next, and then summon back the Dodo as well as the Lampsies. Okay, yeah, they said they scuffed this play. I'm not an expert on Prank Kids, so be sure to leave a comment below if you would have done this play differently, because I feel like this could have maybe been done a bit more optimally. But again, I don't really play this deck super often, so I can't comment on like the intricacies. But yeah, let me know. Feel free to leave a comment. But they're going to go to battle phase, attack over the Akashic Magician, and then going to go into main phase 2. And then they're going to trigger the Dodo effect. That's going to target the Fusion Spell as well as the Dropsies. So they don't actually have Battle Butler set up unless if I am missing something. I could be wrong here, but they're just going to go for Pranks instead. So they're going to summon out Token and then go for Bow Wow. So they can still add back, but yeah, I guess they're just going to, instead of going for Butler, just go for like Weather Washer, which we've seen like a fair bit of lately, so that's not too unreasonable. They're going to set 3 and then go to end phase. They're going to go Pranks effect. That's going to recycle 3. And they can also make this Gamma live in their hand by tributing just in standby phase to clear their board. They're going to draw into another. There can be only one before passing. And there it is, the Giant Ballpark. So in case you guys need a refresher on what this card does, during damage calculation, if a player would take battle damage, you can make neither player take any battle damage from that battle. And if you do, send one level 4 or lower insect monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you send a normal monster this way, you can special summon any number of monsters with the same name as that monster from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. If a monster or monsters you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, except during damage step, you can special an insect normal monster from your graveyard, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So that first effect is what is really important there, because it lets you just spam the field with a whole bunch of insects. So this card is pretty much the centerpiece of the deck. Obviously, the deck is able to make some plays without it, but really this is kind of the heart and soul of it, and is primarily why you're going second. But yeah, that's going to be a very solid top deck for sure. Standby phase, we're going to see the Bow Wow being activated. That's going to tribute to add back Lampsies as well as Dropsies. And then in main phase, they're going to activate Ballpark and then go to battle phase. Looks like end of main phase, they're going to use the Pandemonium here while they still have the chance. And that's going to summon out a copy of the Weather Washer. Yeah, because if they don't do that, then it's pretty much game. Well, they have there can be only one to kind of soak up some of the damage. Yeah, because this would have, this would just be reduced to 0 by Ballpark. Yeah, so I guess they weren't dead necessarily, but they just want more value out of it here before going to main phase 2. So they're going to trigger both the Prank Kids effects and the Field Spell and Weather Washer as well. So they're going to bash the Meow Meow for the replacement cost, and then they're going to bring back both their Link monsters. And they chose not to summon off of either of their Prank Kids here. They're going to go and attack into the Weather Washer, and then Ballpark is going to attack. So this is doing damage calculation, which is part of the damage step. Yeah, so you can't ash that here. So it looks like they're thinking in response, and then actually, let me just make sure. Yeah, so this Nibiru I think is reduced from last turn, so it should be on 25, and this should also be on 25. But I actually don't know the rulings on if you can trigger Ballpark if your monster would crash. I actually have no idea if that's how it works. But it looks like it does. Okay, so they're talking about it in chat here. Monsters would crash, they go 25. Why should yours be 25? I used Places Channeling 3 earlier, which they did. Oops, I piloted the wrong thing. When I Fusion Summon, I gained 500 attack. Was even looking for the activation of that, then none of this works. Okay. So the Bow Wow is still at 2k. The play is workable if you just attack Bow Wow. Can I redeclare then? And it looks like, they're letting it. So a shout out to Black Hippie for being nice about this. So they're going to go for a Ballpark here after attacking over the Bow Wow instead. So that's going to go and summon out 3 insects. And then end of battle phase, gonna go for there can be only one. And then, yeah, it doesn't trigger out the second effect of Ballpark because it's not a card effect. And also it wouldn't matter anyways because you wouldn't be able to summon back another insect after keeping one on resolution of this. So either way, it wouldn't work. But gonna go to main phase 2 here, it looks like. And then go to Nightmare Phoenix. That's gonna pitch Slumber and then pop there can be only one. This makes it so that... oh, yeah, no, they used Bow Wow earlier, which makes it so all your prank hits can't be destroyed by card effects, which is why they didn't use the Slumber. They're just going to pass here. And we're going to see a top deck to Lampsies, so this should just be the end of the game as long as they out the Ballpark. Which, some people forget that Ballpark is a thing, so hopefully they remember to out it. They're going to go for Dodo here, and that's going to tribute to add back the Fusion spell as well as the Dropsies. They're going to go for Pranks next, pitching the Dropsies, summoning out the token. They're then going to link into Nightmare Unicorn, so they're going to Unicorn effect to spin back Ballpark. Yeah, so they did get rid of it. And then they're going to normal summon the copy of Lampsies, go into Access Code. They're going to go Access Code as well as... yeah, they're just going to admit defeat right there. So that was definitely a game. That was a good game one for sure. A lot of back and forth considering, Prank Kids kind of got their play stopped like for 3 turns in a row pretty much. And then Ballpark, was almost able to come back, but the There Can Be Only One really was a big hindrance. And then the Prank Kids just had so much follow-up. So yeah, definitely a pretty solid game. Yeah, it didn't really run out of steam at all. So game 2, we're going to be seeing the Ballpark deck choosing to go second again. And if you guys are enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more. But the opening hand for the Prank Kids deck going first again is going to be Call by the Grave, Solemn Judgment, Desires, Pandemonium, and Ash. So this is missing a Prank Kids. Desires is going to have to get there. We'll see what happens afterwards. And then the opening hand for Ballpark going second is going to be Giant Ballpark, Shiny Black Sea Squatter, Double Pin the Bullseye, and Danger Mothman. So yeah, you can only special summon it once per turn. It does activate, so it does count as part of the effect. But yeah, Mothman's a cool card in this deck for sure. Not really any hand traps as we saw last time, but just a lot of insects in Ballpark. We're going to see an activation of Pot of Desires. That's going to banish 10. And then going to draw into There Can Be Only One and Desires. Rest in peace, no Prank Kids. Let's see what they banished. They banished the Psychic Soldier. Let's see. They banished 2 Roxys, and a lot of lists only play 2, so that could just be both of them. And they banished like 1 of each of the other Prank Kids. We saw they were playing multiple plays as well, so which I mean is standard, but yeah, they banished 1. They're gonna set 2 and pass. We're gonna see a top deck Retaliating Sea. This card's really cool because it's good in the matchup, and also it allows you to search more insects. So that's actually pretty nice that this is like just an insect as part of this deck. Throwback to when this used to be able to search Maxi. But gonna go for Giant Ballpark, and then they're gonna activate Danger Mothman. That's going to roll the dice and then hit Retaliating Sea out of hand. That's definitely relevant for sure, because that would have been pretty nasty. They're gonna draw an Ash off the Mothman. Oh yeah, they were thinking that the Mothman effect would show you there, but nah. They're just gonna put it back, and then they're gonna special summon out Pin the Bullseye. And then on that summon, they're going to activate There Can Be Only One. Then get a normal summon Ash. And then they're going to go into Nightmare Phoenix. That's going to pitch this copy of Black Sea Squatter to hit There Can Be Only One. But, oh, just kidding. It looks like on the summon, they're going to go for Solemn Judgment. Yeah, so just a little bit of confusion here, but they're using this. I mean, you can't use it on the effect. It has to be on the summon. So this goes back to hand. Yep, and then that's going to be a pass. So we're going to see a top deck Instant Fusion for Prank Kids. I guess that technically is a Prank Kid, but they still need like a main deck name. They're going to set Call By and pass, opting not to use Desires there. We're going to see a top deck Nibiru from the side of Ballpark. They're then going to normal summon this copy of Shiny Black Sea Squatter. They're going to go into the battle phase. They choose not to use a Ballpark here. Just going to attack for damage. Actually, but yeah, they can't use Ballpark. I forgot they're under There Can Be Only One. They're going to go for Desires. That's going to banish 10. And then draw into Lampsies and Fansies. So there's the Prank Kids names. So let's see. A lot of the decks got to be just gone by now. Yeah, they're... Actually, it's not too horrible of a banish. But yeah, definitely not ideal. They actually are playing 3 Roxys. So all of those are actually banished right now. Yeah, so they're working with significantly fewer resources than is ideal. But I actually think they have 2 more Dropsies. And they have... I'm like trying to keep track of everything. I think they're actually pretty good on playing kids names in the deck still, surprisingly, even though there's only 10 cards. But they're going to go into Lampsies. That's going to be link summoned for a copy of Meow. Going to trigger the Lampsies, summoning out Dropsies from deck. And then they're going to go into a copy of the Dodo. Dodo and the Dropsies is going to trigger, so that's going to search for Pranks, and then summon out a copy of the Lampsies. From here, they're going to Pandemonium, and then, oh, it looks like they're thinking in response. They're going to chain Nibiru to that. So, let's see. So, would tribute first, and then Pandemonium would check to see if it resolves. Yes, that is correct. So fusion summoning isn't a cost, but it's part of the effect. So like even with like basic polymerization, that's why like Shadal's trigger and what's it called, Fluffle's trigger, and Lunalights as well. Rest in peace, Lunalights. We're gonna go for Pranks here, and then they're gonna go for Pranks effect. That's gonna pitch the Fansies, summon out another token. Actually, what type is this token? It is a Pyro. I actually never knew what type this token was. But yeah, it's going to be relevant for the Chameleon one. Yeah, because Instant Fusion, trying to summon that Rocket Ride doesn't work here because they're both Pyro. So this actually doesn't work. Hopefully they catch that. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you already have a Pyro. And that's just going to be it. So Frankie's actually going to scoop to that, surprisingly. Wow, I did not expect the game to end that way, but there you go. When you don't draw your Prank Kids super early on and you have to kind of make some suboptimal plays, definitely hurts, especially when you resolve Double Desires. But we're going to move into Game 3 now, where it looks like we're going to see the Ballpark deck being forced to go first. And before we get started in Game 3, just want to shout out my patrons as usual. So thank you all so much for supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. And if you guys do want to support the channel via the Patreon, feel free to check out the link to that in the description box below. But we're going to now move into Game number 3, where the opening hand for Ballpark going first is going to be Nibiru, Resonance Insect, Kaiju Slumber, Feather Duster, and Doomdozer. So I don't really think this accomplishes that much. You could probably just set Resonance Insect. But sitting on Nibiru is generally pretty good. At least in this matchup, it should be fine. And then the opening hand for the Prankets deck going second is going to be Dropsies, Pandemonium, Triple Tactics, Talent, Lampsies, and Desires. So no dedicated go second cards except possibly Triple Tactics, Talent. So that could definitely play a role. But this hand looks decent for sure. Nothing like spectacular. Gonna go and set Resonance Insect Pass. They're gonna draw Nibiru for turn. Normal summoning Dropsies here. That's gonna link into a copy of the Meow. And then Dropsies is gonna trigger, so that's gonna summon out a copy of Fansies from deck. And then from here, they're gonna link summon into a copy of Dodo, and then triggering both effects. So gonna mill the field spell, searching Pranks, and then gonna choose not to summon there. So yeah, I guess they're playing around Nibiru here because this is 4 summons. They're gonna Dodo effect here, targeting Water and Fansies here. Yeah, the Prankets don't have to summon. They actually did that earlier with one of the Roxy's effects. But yeah, they're going to then activate Desires. That's going to banish 10 and then draw into a copy of Harpy's Feather Duster and Dropsies. They have 9 cards in their hand right now. They're just going to set 3 and then pass. So yeah, they're just trying to play around Nibiru here, I assume. And then like set plays on the opponent's turn to just make a more aggressive push, which is fair. We are going to see a top with Ash. They're going to begin with a Harpy's Feather Duster, which is definitely quite solid. That's going to prompt the Pandemonium to summon out a copy of Battle Butler. And then the Feather Duster and the Triple Tactics Talents are going to be wiped. So yeah, they had a lot of cards in their hand, so that's why they kind of set these. But yeah, definitely unfortunate to lose out to the Feather Duster, which was cited in for their Chameleon one, I assume, but just wasn't even in there. And then they're going to be thinking, oh, looks like the Prankets are going to trigger, so going to trigger all 3 of them. Summoning out Roxy's, milling a copy of Pandemonium, summoning out Lampsies, burning for 5, gaining 1,000. Then they're going to Kaiju Slumber here. That's going to resolve, so going to summon out Kumungus and Gardner. And then Battle Butler and Resonance Insect both trigger here. Are either of them mandatory? I don't think so. Yeah, this is optional. So it would be Butler Chainlink too. Gonna go into a copy of Dodo here. And, oh, maybe, did they forget Resonance Insect? It doesn't have to be sent face up, right? Yeah, just if it's sent from the field to the grave. So I think they just missed the Resonance Insect. Unless if I'm missing something, which is definitely possible. They're going to go into battle phase, attack over the Dodo. And, oh, yeah, they forgot Resonance. Rest in peace. They're going to pass. That definitely could matter for sure, because that's like a free search. We are going to see a top deck to Lightning Storm, so they were prepared to go second. I mean, they did board that way specifically. But going to go and also summon Dropsies here, and then link into a copy of Meow Meow. And then they're going to use Dropsies effect, but they're going to chain Ash. And that is going to be the end of the turn. So going to activate Pranks, and then recycle back 3, and then going to draw 1. Draw is going to be a copy of Roxy's. Definitely not bad. Just more plays for next turn. We're going to see a top deck Foolish Burial. So this card's probably just going to be a way to send like Gokipole, for example. They're going to Foolish, sending Gokipole. So this card, I actually mentioned it at the beginning, but in case you're unfamiliar with this card, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can you can add a level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you added a normal monster, you can special summon it. Then you can destroy one monster in the field with attack greater than or equal to that special summoned monsters. So like you can basically add Black Sea Squatter, destroy something big. I wonder if you play like smaller insects, if you want to like destroy smaller stuff. Not sure. But yeah, it's has to be level 4 exactly, so it's not like level 4 or lower. But this does search like Mothman too, which is interesting. And also, I believe it searches Resonance Insect, yeah. So they're going to go and summon out the copy of Squatter, and then they're going to pop Humongous. And then going to proceed to battle phase, attack over the rest of the board here. Yeah, so they're doing this without Ballpark, which is pretty good. They're just relying on their defensive cards, which I mean, you kind of have to if you don't draw Ballpark, right? Main phase 2, they're going to Link Summon for the Injector Link. On Link Summon, you can discard a card and then target another insect, and then equip one from your deck as an equip spell. So you can like equip Resonance Insect and then get more value. But it can't target itself. And then the equip monster also gains 500 attack and defense. And then you could target 3 insects in your grave to shuffle them back and then draw 1. So that's like pretty solid for sure. They're going to shuffle back, and then they're going to draw into a copy of Gokipole. And then they're going to set Gokipole. Yeah, because they didn't normal summon this turn yet, and then pass. They chose not to use Slumber at any point here. Maybe just holding it. We're going to see another Nibiru for turn. Definitely a lot of just cards that are kind of dead right now. They're going to go into a copy of Meow Meow, and then that's going to banish the Rock. So Roxy's banishing Rock. Going to draw into Dropsies, and then going to summon out a copy of Fansies from deck. Oh, just kidding. They're going to summon out a copy of Lampsies instead. And then going to go into a copy of Dodo. And then Dodo and Fire are both going to trigger, so that's going to go for Lampsies now, and then burn for 5 as well. They're going to Link Summon Nightmare Unicorn, and they're going to Unicorn spin back the set. So they just don't want to trigger like Gokipole or Resonance Insect. And then they're going to go and attack over this copy of the Injector Link. Pecofolina, I think. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It definitely could be. But we're going to see end phase Pranks. Oh, looks like they are going to drop Nibiru here, actually. Maybe I just want more board presence, which is fair enough. Doomdozer is alive, so I'm not sure if they needed to drop Nibiru here. Because like Unicorn by itself wasn't really doing anything. But maybe they're just trying to go for game, because they did put the token in attack position, so they just want an extra 3k body. So they're going to draw into a Dropsies. So we're going to see a top deck Gardner for turn. Definitely not bad. So they can go like Doomdozer, banish Resonance Insect, use the effect to send Gokipole pop token, and then that should be game, because that will be 58 plus the whatever you summon, which will be 2k most likely. So that'll be game playing around Nibiru if they actually decide to do it. So yeah, Slumber effect, that's going to go and add Humongous. They could also just like summon Humongous, summon Gardner, summon Doomdozer, and that should also be game. They're going to go summon Doomdozer. That's going to banish 2. Resonance Insect going to go and send Gokipole, summoning a copy of Squatter, and then going to pop the token, and then going to go to battle phase. Not yet, keep extending. And that's going to be it. So Giant Ballpark actually going to win over Prankets 2-1 here. Really, really interesting stuff, considering that Ballpark wasn't really a big factor in Game 1, and it didn't even make an appearance in Game 3 here. So yeah, super, super cool stuff. Off the back of just some insects plus, really powerful non-engine cards, you're able to just have a, deck that is a simple beatdown deck. It's simple but effective, and definitely good stuff. Again, I'm not super well versed with Prankets, so Maybe they could have done things a bit more optimally, but you guys can let me know down in the comments below. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and creative Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.